Thank you all for coming. Head coach Paula Haynes is joined by sophomore kicker Shane Hines. Coach.
Again, good to get in the win column. I thought our guys played well on in all three phases. A couple of things that we got to continue to get better at, in our special teams. But I think overall, again, good to get back in the win column. Looking forward to going to Tuscaloosa and taking on Alabama.
Coach, you could talk about just watching film over the weekend and what you saw that was different from a week earlier and what kind of validating some of the improvements.
I think, again, offensively, you look at, again, it all starts with the quarterback position. I think, the week before there was a lot of reads that we were missing, a lot of blocks that we were missing. And I think we improved on that, even starting with Malik on some of his zone reads. I think throwing the football, getting the ball out, not taking sacks, as many sacks. I think we did a better job on that. Defensively tackling, I think was much improved, and leveraging the ball was much improved. Those were really the things that we talked about that we had to make sure that we get better at, and I thought we got better at them.
When you have a young quarterback, do you continue to simplify, or do you continue to identify the things that he does? Are you still in that process actually with him?
Yeah, I think you're still in that process, and the thing about Malik is Malik didn't go through spring ball because he was hurt, with his ankle. So all of this fall camp is a lot of, newness to him. So we still are, kind of seeing what he can do, what he can handle, and seeing how much we can put on his plate and what is too much, for him. So I think, again, by every game, by every rep, I think he's getting better. How fast that will happen depends on, again, him. It's all about him, not on what we want to do, but really what can he do.
I know North Carolina A&T had an athletic defensive
Yeah.
line, but the O-line really did a better job of opening holes, and Malik did a nice job of running too, as a ranking. What did you see in looking at the offensive line and the combination of the running game and also getting Miles involved too more?
Yeah, I think, again, it comes back to execution. I mean, against A&T, we didn't execute as good as we did last week, and it still comes down to, us taking the proper steps, putting your hands in the right place, your eyes in the right place, proper leverage, on blocking, and I think we just did a better job of it this week. We have a lot of running backs that can help us, with Justin and Miles Washington and Will Matthews. All three of those guys can go in there and give us some good looks. And then, of course, you got Nick Holly also, too, you can throw back there. So, knock on wood, we've stayed healthy, at that position, which allows us to, keep rotating those guys and keep them fresh and healthy.
LC Refuge has had a hand in turnovers in all three games. Talk about what he's doing, and are you seeing it consistently also, the performance on film?
Yeah, I think, again, it's as a whole, though. I think guys are doing their job, which are allowing guys to make plays. Terrence is a guy that's, getting a lot of sacks and tackles for loss because of what other people are doing. LC, again, with Terrence's hit that he got in the Penn State game, and in this one, he made a great catch on the interception, but again, pressuring the quarterback, and he gets rid of it. So I think it's just a good team effort.
Coach, you've talked a lot in the past about the importance of the run game on first and second down and how it correlates into third down conversion rate, and the numbers really back that up this past Saturday, and it seemed to make a big difference really on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you look at, I think we're 8 for 16 or something like that on third down, but you look at the numbers and it wasn't 3rd and 12. It wasn't 3rd and 15, most of the time. And anytime you can get in those situations, you're better. Your conversion, numbers or percentage can be better. So I think we did a better job on first and second down on, getting behind the 6 a little bit, of making it 3rd and medium and 3rd and manageable, instead of 3rd and long. And we won on first down defensively to get them in situations that, our guys can pin their ears back, and you got guys like, Terrence and Theo that can come off the edge, and Anthony Johnson, and it only helps us.
when you're not converting on third down, what does it mean to have Shane doing what he's doing?
It's good, especially, when you get, it depends on a windy day and all that, but you're going in the direction that he can be real consistent. And, I think offensively it can cause you to not take so many risks that that you can, guarantee yourself 3 points and not turn the ball over and not do anything crazy. So it helps you tremendously. And we sit there and talk about it, going into the series, and that's my communication with Treddy going into, when we get in those field positions of, we got 3 points, so let's not, do anything crazy, or let's take a chance on first down, and let's be conservative more on second and third down.
How much do you guys talk before games about distance and know, what's right for each game, and how different is it?
I try to stay away from this guy as much as possible because he's different. All right, but no, we sit there. He always comes and tells me I can get, from with the wind blowing this way, I can kick a 50-yarder. It's blowing this way, I can kick 65-yarder. So but yeah, he usually comes to me and communicates, to me on what he feels comfortable with, and then if it changes, we continue to talk about it. But, he's doing a very good job for us. He's got a lot of confidence, which is good. We have a very unique relationship that we can communicate very well.
Can you describe that relationship?
I mean, I'm in SAC, so I kind of report to him about what's going on as well, and I think we just have a relationship that I haven't had with another coach. Not so much on a football level, but on a personal level as well. And it's just somebody that sometimes I'll speak my mind a little bit too much to him. But it's
a good example of that?
I'd rather not. But it's someone I can always bounce ideas off of and talk to, and very easygoing person I can just go to about anything. So I think it's good to have a coach like that and someone I haven't had in the past.
He said that you'll lobby sometimes in a game and say that how much does that make it easier? To that relationship, make it easier to go up to him and say, Coach, I can make this one.
Yeah, so last year, as a freshman, I kind of stayed away from him, kind of knew my spot, not to poke the bear, but this year I'm right in his pocket on third down and kind of follow him around once we get in the range. Try and still keep my distance, be respectful of what he thinks, what's going on, what he wants, but I'm always there to I want to push myself and give him the opportunity. I'll know I'll put it through.
Here's the difference. This is interesting during the game. He probably don't know. The week before, I told you guys I could see him out the corner of my eye when I kicked it, Pooch kicked it. So this time we sat there and we went for it on that fourth down, and I walked right by him and he was like, good job, guys. So I knew he was making a point that I saw him actually congratulating on the decision. So he's grown from week to week.
And I'd rather kick PATs than field goals. So I mean, if we score a touchdown, it's better for not only the team but myself too, because I'd rather be kicking a short kick than a 45-yard, 50-yard kick. So I mean, whatever works.
Just you kind of mentioned a different relationship. There's a lot of college, especially Division I head coaches, don't even know who the kicker is. So I mean, you've been in a different situation. It sounds like so that obviously does make it a little cool to be able to go to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm coming from a high school who had a lot of talent. A lot of kids went Division I, Big Ten, other MAC schools. And not to say my coaches in high school weren't great. They were who shaped me to who I am today. But a little bit overshadowed. We had a lot of kids that go to Michigan State, a couple of Central and Western Michigan as well, Purdue. I don't know quite how to say it. It's just that the relationship I have with Coach Haynes is something I haven't had with the coach since I've been playing kiddie kickers in soccer when I was 3 years old, 4 years old. And to have it as a 20-year-old, not only to see it as a football perspective, but to get it from becoming a man, becoming a better person, I think that's forever in debt to him and forever in debt to the whole coaching staff.
Let's have the player talk about what it's going to be like going into Alabama.
Going into Alabama, I mean, it's just another game. We treat it just like any other game. Try to be 1-0 at the end of the week. Obviously, our preparation is key. It's something we touch on all the time. Preparation for me isn't as much as preparation for everybody else on the team, but I still do my part throughout the week, fine-tuning the routine, again with Kane, our holder, and Colin, our snapper, and Colin, our holder, throughout the week and just kind of fine tune our routine. And uprights are the same width and hash are the same width, just a couple extra people. So same thing for me, and should be the same thing for everybody else.
Do you have much of a relationship with Nick?
You know, yeah, I really don't. I can't remember exactly when it was, but Todd Alice was his DFO. I think it might have been 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was when I was at, I think I was still at Ohio State. Todd Alice was with us at Ohio State, and he went down and had a relationship with Nick from longtime high school coach, and he went to be his director of football ops. So I went to visit them in the spring. And I knew Jim McElwain, who was his offensive coordinator, was with me at Michigan State in Louisville. So I went down there to visit him, then, and that was really the only time that we actually talked. It was kind of strange because I was sitting in Todd's office, and Nick came in, and he was like kind of talking to his general, kind of like, hey, if you want to meet with me, I got time right now. So Todd grabs his stuff and gets up, and he's like, no, I'm talking to you. So we went in his office and probably met for about an hour, one-on-one, and just talk, DB stuff and defensive philosophy type stuff. So their staff, I think they had a staff meeting coming in. So the coaches started coming in, and he kind of held off the staff meeting, and everybody's looking at me like, who is this guy? Like, who is this dude? But I think the relationship that he knew I was from Kent State. He knew Dean Pease, knew I worked with Dean Pease real well, and I think that had a factor in it. Because, again, talking with Dean, Nick is, it's all about business. It's all about this and that. So I appreciate the time that he took, with me for that hour and minutes, because I know he doesn't do that a lot.
Just from having been at Ohio State, obviously similar program here. What do you just look at these guys these programs that are just so good every year? Is there a thing or two that makes them special, having been there?
I think there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot. You got resources, you got back. It's what drives it. It's everything. It's everything about the program that wants to be the best. And from everything that they do, they want to be the best at everything. So, those programs, there's only a couple of them. There's only about 3 or 4 of them that are like that everything they do and everybody's involved in it wants to be the best.
Just having been there, obviously this different situation here, but what can you take from that to try to make this a mini version of that, so to speak?
Attention to detail. And it's the same thing. You gotta make sure that everything you do, you're doing it to the best of your ability, and everybody that is involved with the program wants to be the best. And it's not about being average.
You've also, when you were at Ohio State, you've been, with a program that's been at the top of the rankings, that's been tested like they were this past week. Sometimes there's that old thing, you don't want to poke the bear, but you don't also want to be the team that's playing that comes across the bear after it's been poked. Can you put that into perspective for what you guys are going to face, but also what it was like for you when you were at Ohio State, where we're fighting for a national championship and we just got really tested, and what that does to refocus maybe the next week?
I think, and you look at Alabama, you look at Nick, I think one of the things that he does a great job in is really, and that's why they've consistently been good, is really just not about your choices. It's not about who you're playing. There's only one way to play the game, and we talk about a lot. There's only one way to play the game. You don't play it one week because you're playing these guys, and next week because you're playing, these guys. So his biggest challenge, he's going to continue to try to get his guys up. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It's easier said than done, because they look at the schedule. The players look at the schedule too, and we only got them for a certain amount of time, and it's what the noise that they're hearing from everyone else that you worry about the most, But I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show them Monmouth film, if he didn't show them A&T film, and he just showed them Penn State film, on how this is the team that you're going to get coming in here And again, just going back to the experiences of playing games like this on the other side, is you show them playing the best, and this is what you can expect when they come in here instead of showing them other game tape. So.
What is when you were a coach though with that? Is it a man? These next guys who are coming in better be ready because we're gonna get them refocused, or is there an actual kind of not a worry, but boy, we've got some stuff to really fix?
You talking about on
Yeah,
their
for you,
part?
for you. When you're in that kind of, because you've been in a lot of
Yeah.
games like that.
I think as a coach, you worry about these games on that side of it more than you know they're going to get up for Ole Miss. You're going to get up for Auburn. These are the ones that you worry about the most because you're trying to, as a coach, to make sure that you get them up. But you know, in the back of their mind, and everyone else is telling them, this team you can beat, no matter what. So as a coach, you worried about these as far as their preparation. But I think that's what he has mastered. I think that's what he does the best out of anyone in the country. Is it doesn't matter who they play. They're never out of a game, and they always prepare a certain way. They don't have choices. He doesn't give them a lot of choices. This is the way they do it, and that's why that machine keeps rolling like it is. And that's why those programs continue to do the things that they do because they don't have choices. This is the way you do it.
Obviously, they got everything going on there, but what is there a few things that you look at that really stand out about this team?
I mean, it's a machine. I mean, they do what they do. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. And if you try to pick one out, you sit there and you watch it again, and it's not a weakness, So, I mean, they're the defending national champs for a reason. They're number one in the country for a reason. And like I said, when you have the culture, and that's what we're trying to get to is get the culture. When you have the culture of winning, it's a machine, and it keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. And, when you have guys that come into it and come into that culture, when you want to be average, you get exposed, a lot. So, there's no weakness in it. I mean, we have to go in there and play our best. We got to get takeaways. You can't turn the ball over. You got to be able to stop the run and not give up big plays. But you watch them on film, they're doing that versus any and everybody, So, it's just one of those games, man, that you got to sit in there and put your best foot forward, see what happens.
You've prepared for Arkansas or for Alabama before. Is it different? How different is it?
I don't think the preparation is any different. You prepare. You're a coach and they're players, and you prepare, just like anything else and just like anyone else. We had a great plan, we felt, at Arkansas. And I remember they came out in 12 personnel. We had a great plan versus 12. And first two series, they came out in 12. I think we stopped them. And then they got in 11 personnel and just ran zone. And 52-0 later, it was over. It was in Fayetteville. It was over. So, again, they can do what they want, how they want to do it. They have the capability of doing that, on both sides of the ball. Not really, I don't think. Again, I think that's when, McElwain, I think, was there. And Nussmeier was actually there also, too, which both of those guys I work with. But I think Lane has evolved them a little bit, also, too. But I think, again, they're just like everybody else. They look at their personnel first. This is what we like to do, but what do our guys do best? They got horses up front on both sides of the ball. If they ever want to sit there and pound you, they can. And it doesn't matter who it is, from Kent State to whoever, if that's what they want to do. Again, it is what it is. We can analyze them all we want, man. They're a machine.
As you and Nick are obviously defensive guys. To see them win games coming off a national championship, it is one that it's 48-44. So that shows you how much college football has really changed and how he's been able to change right with it and stay.
Yeah, and I think he talks about that a lot, just on how the fast pace and how the game has changed, and for him and how you have to evolve as a coach, because it's not going back to iPro, anytime soon. It's getting faster and it's getting more spread out. So you have to change your mind philosophy. I know we were talking about it the other day. I was talking with a scout the other day of just talking about how your defensive mind changes with, it used to be holding people to 13 points. You know, there's no way it's even nowhere close to 13 points. I remember you want to hold guys under, 300 yards. There's no way that you can hold a lot of offenses under 300 yards. So you have to change your philosophy a lot that way. And really it comes to making sure that you hold them to, one less point than what you got, a lot of times.
I mean, obviously you go there to win, but I mean, if you could take a couple things out, win loss aside, to try to accomplish this weekend, what would it be?
I think first and foremost, and we talked about it this morning, our team, is that we keep our poise. I mean, you get in situations like this and you want to go in there and rah-rah and do things out of character and all that. We got to keep our poise. Are they going to make plays? Yes. They're going to make plays. They made plays on everyone. Is how do we keep our poise and how do we sit there and play the next play is going to be very important. I want to come out of this game and make sure that we look like a better football team. So we talked about the fundamentals of football. Defensively, tackling, leveraging the ball, great eye control, offensively, blocking, throwing, running, catching, the things that we've been doing since we've been in Pee Wee football. Those are the things that we got to make sure that we continue to get better at, coming out of this football game. Just like anyone else in these games, try to get it to the fourth quarter and see what happens. If it's out of reach before that, it's out of reach before that. Either way, but you try to get it to the fourth quarter, and see what happens. But we got to come out of this game a better football team than what we were going into it.
Shane, with boys, is it hard? How hard is that when you're the butterflies to control them when you're in that kind of a setting?
So going back to week 1, we were at Penn State. My first field goal was only a chip shot, 26 yards, I believe. Into the student section, to be honest with you, I couldn't hear Colin say set. So it was kind of just you got to focus on your job at hand. Not so much about the noise. You kind of drown that out, to be honest with you. You get there. The sights and sounds are cool during pregame, but then again, you got to focus up. You got to realize what you're there for. It's not a sightseeing. You can go sightsee when you're done with football. So we're there to drown out the noise, just do what we got to do. And so I don't find it too difficult to kind of just focus up, and no noise is that loud to me.
Going early to visit the Civil Rights Museum. Can you talk about what you want you guys to kind of take from that?
The thing about a lot of these games, when you can play them and you can go into, a historic, town or situation, a lot of these guys will never visit Birmingham, and to be able to go there, and we're staying in actually Birmingham, and to take them to somewhere that is historic and they can learn is always a good thing, So what each individual is going to get out of it, I have no idea, but it is something special. It is something that you hope they get something out of, when they leave, just to get a different perspective on life and appreciation for where they are and what they have, right now. And a lot of people, no matter what color you are, you have an opportunity to learn, from it and grow from it. So I think it's special. I'm looking forward to it. And again, who knows on how many guys on this team has ever been to Birmingham or who will ever visit Birmingham, but we have an opportunity to go and we have an opportunity to take them. So I'm looking forward to it.
You got some guys, that have NFL aspirations. Monday comes to mind as a potential. Maybe Holly, some other guys. I mean, how big is this to really for those guys? This is where we're at going up against a team like that.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think again, when you sit there and you that goes back to that poise, because when you sit there and any time and we talk about this all the time, is if I tell you to sign your name, guys have signed their name 1,000 times, all right? They can do it in their sleep. But if I tell you I want you to sign your name and I want no squiggly lines and I want a perfect signature, they would start concentrating and over-concentrating and they would end up screwing it up. And it's the same thing with them. This is just another game that they got to sit out there and play within themselves and in this defense. You can't over-concentrate. You can't go into it and saying, I got to make plays. And I'm going to get drafted based off of what I do versus Alabama, because you can have a great game versus Alabama, and then what are you doing the next couple weeks? You know, so it's not just one game that's going to happen for you. Is it important that they play well? Yeah, it's important that they play well, because there are so-called better players on our defense, you know, and we need them to make plays. But it's not just about, it's about staying within themselves and staying within the defense to make sure that we are successful, you know, as a unit and not just as an individual. And if they stay within the defense, plays will happen for them. It's not like Alabama's going to go into it and say, we got to stay away from this guy. They're going to get challenged, you know. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun for them to watch and or to be a part of it, and we'll see what happens.
You got some guys out, some key guys. If you have a chance of getting anyone back, and how much do you weigh that against, you know, the start of the MAC season coming up right after?
We weigh it a lot. You know, again, I'm not going to take any chances with guys banged up in this one. You know, if they're not 100%, then, you know, I doubt if they will play, you know, in this one. Monday is one of those guys who didn't play last week. We'll see how he is, you know, going through the week. But if he's not 100%, he won't, you know, at all. We do get Quan Robinson back. We get Dalton Hicks back. You know, so those would be good for us, you know, in depth, you know, for us, especially at the corner position and linebacker position and special teams, you know, for us. Putoff, we'll have to see, you know, how he is. And again, those guys are all concussion guys, so you got to go through the protocol of the concussions and see where they are, you know. So, but it'll be good to get those two guys back. I know for sure those guys should be okay. Putoff is still up in the air a little bit.
Shane, can you talk about kickoffs a little bit? What have been some points of emphasis for both you and the kickoff team? Some things that maybe go overlooked by fans.
So, first off, I believe we have a very phenomenal, good kickoff team. You look at guys to my left, you look to my guys to the right, you got guys who are starting defense who want to be on that team. I know we stress special teams a lot, and those guys on kickoff want to be on that team. Me personally, I know I need to get better on kickoffs. My kickoffs haven't been to where they should be, so I know that's an improvement I need to make going into this week of practice. From a fan's point of view, I think kickoff's one of the most exciting plays in football, but that's coming from a kicker. So I think it's a great play. You got guys running down the field looking to hit somebody, but yeah.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right.